Welcome to Animation 3. In this class, we are going to make this moving rainbow. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go to Gallery. And if you have a stack, go ahead and open up your stack and then come up to the plus sign. Now we're going to want our canvas to be 2800 by 2800. If you look in the list here and you see the 2800 by 2800, which I do have one here, you can select that, or you can come up to this icon here and then type in 2800 by 2800, click create, and that will give you that canvas. We're going to go ahead and shrink our canvas a little bit. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a background. So we're going to put it on layer 1 here, come up here and choose the color, and you can choose any color you'd like your background to be. It doesn't necessarily have to be a blue sky. It could be something completely different. So I'm going to choose a really light color, and then I'm going to drag that color to my canvas. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a layer on top of this layer by clicking the plus sign. I'm going to change my color to pure white. So if you do not have white down here, you can tap in the white area here and it'll give you a pure white. We're also going to change our brush. So go to the brush area, and we're going to change our brush to the monoline brush. So we're going to go down to calligraphy and choose monoline. Once there, we're going to draw 2 clouds. And a cloud is basically the letter C, and you draw the letter C a couple of times. Well, actually more than a couple, but just enough to make it look like a cloud. And we're going to do that twice. Want to make them a pretty good size. Once you've done that, you're going to drop the white down to fill in your clouds. Now my clouds to me are sitting a little low, so I'm going to come up to the arrow here, and touching outside of this dash box, I'm going to pull up just a little bit there, and then touch the arrow again to unselect. Now we're going to want to put like a shading in the clouds. So we're going to come up here and we're going to add a layer on top of the clouds, tap the layer and choose clipping mask. We're going to go to the color and we're going to choose a darker color. I'm going to use, let's see, I think I'll choose this color here. Then we're going to go to the brush and we're going to go down to spray paint and we're going to choose flick. Now we're going to choose the brush size here. We're going to go up to about 20%. And we're just going to kind of brush along the bottom here. We'll do that on both sides. And then we're going to lower the brush size down to 7%. And then we're going to go along the edges here to add a little bit more to make it a little darker along the bottom. That gives us a nice shading effect. And then I'm going to come here and do the same on this side. Just to where you like it. That looks great. Tap the layers again, and now we're going to merge these 2 layers together. Tap and merge down. Now these are on the same layer. So the next step is we're going to turn on our animation assist tool. So we're going to go up to the wrench, make sure you tap on canvas and tap on animation assist. Down at the bottom here, we're going to tap on the first, this is called a frame. We're going to tap on the first frame and we're going to make that our background by tapping there. We're going to tap on this frame and this is going to be the foreground. So what will happen is in between, as you can see here, the rainbow will be in between. So it'll be in between the background and the foreground, which is the clouds, and it will be right here. So the first thing we want to do is we want to come up. We're going to tap here on layer 1 and we're going to add a layer. Now on this layer, we're going to paint the rainbow. So we need to change our brush. So we're going to change our brush. And we're going to go down to painting and Nico Wool. We're going to come up and choose our color. Now we're going to choose 3 colors. So we kind of want a dark, medium, and light. So I'm going to start with this color here. You can choose whatever color you like. Make sure I have my brush chosen. And I'm going to draw in the center here. I'm going to start here on the cloud and go over to this cloud here, this side. Pushing down as you go. Now see, I have it looks a little crooked there, so I'm going to do a 2-finger tap to undo. And it's better if you kind of do it quickly. Over to this side. And that's okay to have a little bit of it showing through. Makes it look crafty. So I'm going to choose my next color. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to do the same thing. Draw across. Don't worry about if it's not too perfect because we're going to adjust it a little bit. I'm going to choose another color, a lighter color. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to draw my arch there. So now you should have a rainbow. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to adjust it a little bit. So I'm going to come over here to the magic wand. And that's really our adjustments, but I like to call it the magic wand. And come down to the liquify tool. Then you want to make sure you're on push here. And you want to adjust the size. Let's try 60%. And we're just going to kind of nudge it up just a little bit. Just a little bit. Being careful. You don't want to do it too much. If you do it too much, then you can always do undo. And then I'm going to kind of push it in over here a little bit. And push it in over here a little bit. Like that. There we go. I got a little bit of a bump right here, so I'm going to come down just a tad there. Oop, I think I did too far. So I'll try that one more time. Okay. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, but kind of rounded is what we're looking for. So I'll push that down. Okay, so now we're ready to start the animation part. Let's turn this off by tapping on it. And what we're going to do is we're going to erase frame by frame by frame by frame. So the first thing we want to do is to come here to the middle and we want to duplicate it. And we're going to do that by tapping it and tapping duplicate. Okay. Now we're on that second frame there. We need an eraser. So we're going to come up to the eraser. We're going to tap the eraser and we're going to choose the flat brush. So the flat brush is in the painting section and choose the flat brush. Our brush size is going to be about 14%. You can always adjust it when necessary. And remember, we're on that first duplicate frame right here. And we're going to come in and we're going to erase. Now you should see, this is called the onion, okay? And so to see our onions, we hit settings and we can change the onion frames, like how much we see, and we could also choose the opacity. We could also change the onion skin color. I would suggest that you don't do anything. If you don't see the onion, then let me know. If you do not see the red here, let me know, and then I can assist you. So we've already erased. So now we want to duplicate the frame here that we erased. So we're going to tap it, duplicate. Now we're going to erase more. So we're going to come here. I like to go over what I went over before just to make sure I've got everything erased. And erase a little bit more. Duplicate. I'm going to go over what I went and did before. And then now we're going to kind of do like a pie section. You should see like a little pie shape here going on. We're going to continue duplicating until we have erased the entire rainbow. Like I said, I like to go over and making sure that I have everything. Okay, I think we're in good shape there. And we're going to come here and we're going to erase some more. We'll go over it some more. We are almost finished with this part. And one more will probably finish it off. Okay, so now let's see what it looks like. So we're going to tap play. And as you can see, it's moving really fast. So we want to go to settings and we want to lower our frames per second. I like to be at about 5 or 7. Okay, I'm at 6. That looks pretty good. Okay, so you see how it's very abrupt. It stops and then it comes back. So what we want to do is we want to pause it. We want to come down to the last, next to the last frame, because remember this is our clouds, and we want to make this duration hold a little bit longer. So we're going to tap and hold the duration for about 5. Okay, that's going to hold it down for a little bit. So let's try that out. Play. Okay, so here we go, and it's going to hold. Awesome. Okay. The next step we want to take is we want to go to the very middle where we started, right here, right there. So the very first frame. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work our way backwards. Now this one's a little bit more difficult because we tend to forget to be on the correct frame because we're working backwards now. So when you duplicate it, you tap it, you duplicate it, you have to go back to the very first frame. So we're going to go back to this frame here. We're still on the eraser. We haven't changed that. And we're going to erase right here. Notice the change in the color here. We're going to tap, duplicate it, go back to the first frame, and erase. I need to make sure I erase that pretty good. Okay. All right, so we've got this erased. Now we're going to tap it, duplicate it, go back to the first frame. Tap it, duplicate it, go back to the first frame. Tap it, duplicate it, go back to the first frame. I have to remind myself because sometimes I forget. Tap it, duplicate it, go back to the first frame. Tap it, duplicate it, go back to the first frame. Tap it, duplicate it, go back to the first frame. Tap it, duplicate it, go back to the first frame. It is so easy to forget to go back to that first frame. Tap it, duplicate it, go back to the first frame. Tap it, duplicate it, go back to the first frame. Tap it, duplicate it, go back to the first frame. Tap it, duplicate it, go back to the first frame. Tap it, duplicate it, go back to the first frame. Tap it, duplicate it, go back to the first frame. Tap it, duplicate it, go back to the first frame. Tap it, duplicate it, go back to the first frame. Awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and play it. Okay, so what we want to do now, go ahead and hit pause. Go back to the very first frame here, not this one here, but this one right here. So I guess it's the second frame. And we're going to do the duration on that. And we're going to do that for 5. 5, yep. Then we're going to go to settings and we're going to click on ping pong instead of loop. So this will make it go back and forth like this. So we'll tap ping pong and then let's hit play. Very nice. Congratulations, you've just made your first moving rainbow. So now we need to save it. So go up to the wrench, go to share, and we want to save it as an animated GIF to our drive.